Hello, this is Jimbo, and welcome or welcome back, whatever the case might be. I'm indoors right now because it's evening time. It's cold and windy out there. I was working in the shed here. It's called the hog house. We'll talk more about that later. I was working on some focus issues with the camera. I was getting ready to put this away. And then I got thinking more about the last video that I made. And the second part of that video was a part-time work opportunity that was offered to my wife and I. Now, in comparison, as retirees, we generally have quite a bit more time than most people, and volunteerism is a big part of that. Some people like to volunteer, some don't. I was doing some volunteering for our church before I retired, and I continued that afterward. Served as treasurer for that entity and another one in the local town here. It's been pretty fulfilling. It does take a little bit of time, but with this new offer of managing a hunting lodge, it really made me think and is pretty interesting, pretty appealing. My wife and I have been talking about the pros and the cons, and with the volunteering, one of the positions will end in the end of 2026. This opportunity begins in September of 2026, so that would overlap a little while, right at the end of the year. The other one that I'm a treasurer for will go through 2027. So it wouldn't be a big deal with the overlap. The things that Mary and I were discussing was being away from our acreage for 3 months. We'd be able to come back on occasion, maybe even alternating. We'd come back and mow the lawn, things of that nature. We can take the horses with us. They have a place to put them. I'd be able to bring any of the guns that I wanted. There's places to shoot out there. It's a really cool and fun atmosphere. And with the debating of doing it or not doing it, my wife on different occasions has expressed a want to, say, go to the Black Hills for a summer or up to Alaska where our daughters are, and either work as seasonal help and get paid or volunteer and have an adventure like that. And that's kind of what I'm getting at, is the adventure of it. A friend of mine, well, I was talking with her a little bit, texting with her the other day, and the last thing she said was, if not now, then when? And as a retiree, I'm fairly young, still got a lot of things ahead of me, a lot of things I can do. My health is pretty good. Why would I really want to wait? And would there even be an opportunity for this later anyway? You can tell by how I'm rambling. I've really been thinking about this, and I'm basically looking at what you guys think. Would you take the safe road and basically stay home? Now, when I say that, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, we've got 10 acres here. We've got plenty to do. We're actually just finishing a first floor remodel on the house. It's the last part of the house to remodel. So we'd be enjoying the use of that as well, kind of wanting to be around it since it's pretty darn nice and we're just getting done with it. But the other deal is it's a hunting lodge, and part of my job would be driving the bus, taking the groups of hunters out. There would be a guide or two, hopefully two, and I might have some of the responsibility of guiding the hunt. Now, another bad thing for me is I'm colorblind. I found that out when I was going in the military. I didn't grow up pheasant hunting. My dad worked away most of the time, and my brother, he didn't really pheasant hunt much either. So that wasn't really a deal then. But now, if I'm taking people out pheasant hunting, I wouldn't be able to call out the bird like if it's a hen or if it's a rooster, of course. So that had me a little bit apprehensive. There's also a lot of land out there and a lot of hunting areas, and I would have to learn those to be able to make the hunt successful for the people that pay a lot of money to go there and hunt. part of my thought pattern was you want to enjoy your retirement and you want to de-stress because a lot of times people are coming off high stress jobs. So you want to decompress is maybe the word that I should use. And I've done that myself. But then there comes a time where maybe you should test yourself a little bit more. I'm looking at this as one of those situations, learning how to set up pheasant hunts. I think they also do deer hunts there. It's a preserve, so there's some other rules that go with that. There's some other paperwork that goes with that. I would have to learn some of that, quite a bit of that actually. Yeah, that would introduce a few stressors for me. But like I said, testing yourself and learning something. You don't want to become stagnant with learning things in retirement. So as I'm thinking, and as my wife and I are talking, we're like checking these things off the box, the pros, cons. There are more pros than there are cons for this. It's kind of inspiring also. It's a really cool atmosphere. And I think if we were away from our acreage in our house, that would probably be the best place to be is at that lodge. They've got it fixed up really nice. We'd have a pretty decent room. Of course, they're not large rooms because it's meant for people to come in for 3, 4, or 5 days and be treated well. So I'm kind of not laboring, justifying. We got a couple weeks here to decide yet. So if this was you in this situation, what are some of the things that you would consider? Maybe they're the ones that I've mentioned already, but what would some others be? It seems like a pretty good opportunity to me, but we do have to make the final decision yet. So sorry if I'm rambling around on this thing, but this is real. This is not scripted. This is my life, and you guys might have some other opportunities in your future. Maybe it wouldn't be exactly like this, but you'd have to be weighing some pros and cons and deciding if you want to challenge yourself a little bit or not. So I think I'm just going to call it quits here, and I'm going to keep thinking about it. Going to be talking to the wife here, and my buddy's going to be sending me some more information that we need before we make the decision anyway. So help me out here. Let me hear what you're thinking. Help me make this decision. Help us make this decision because it's my wife and I both. So, all right. Thanks for listening to me ramble. We'll catch you around next time.